Hello, this video is about this morphs feature that I create in my Tripscode program. And Tripscode is a freeware project and is available on GitHub. And for the GitHub I should say that one should install GitHub Desktop. GitHub Desktop is a very useful program and very intuitive. And let's take a look what this Tripscode program is about. And I made notes for several days what the next steps should be when developing this morphs feature. I have timeline already, I have a reaching, I have bones, I have several animation features there. I can import objects and I can read them, generate weights for them. And next intention is to create morphs system. And morph system is kind of sophisticated and large change in the software. And next step is to create really a modeling mode. And this is not a real modeling, but the description of this mode is that the vertex counts and elements doesn't change, but I can model new positions for the vertices, and they should be as morph maps. And I had thoughts about it that it should have two views, vertical split screen, and the left side is a untransformed undeformed object, meaning undeformed is that the transformers and bones are not affecting the mesh. And on the right side there is a transformed version of the same model, same deformer, same objects, and they reflect the real-time true transformation on top of morph maps. And when I change the vertex position there, then the vertex is transformed back into bind pose, the neutral pose, original coordinates, and then the difference is evaluated between the newly achieved coordinate and the original coordinate, and this the difference is then encapsulated in the morph map. That's the idea of it. And we should start first creating this new mode. And this video is kind of different because I wish to share with viewers the true nature of development, and this video can be sort of elongated, and also when something goes wrong and not as planned, then I just abruptly finish this video, and I'm not apologizing anything, and this is like a real thing right now, how to do it, I guess. And the first thing is to create this new mode. I mean this new button here after the bind mode. And we should see where those buttons are drawn in the program first off. And we can find those places also with searching first. We should search for this term, what we can read here. We can run the search. Finding files. We wish to search all the files, and this was bind the first verb for this, and we search it. Match case is important, and we see here we have several OpenGL. We see bind mode here right now. Draw bottom bind mode. And we wish to search also those files here that we differentiate in the main C, whether it's in main or user interface. And I rather look about this user interface. Mount draw button horizontal. We see in this draw bottom line. This is the function. And now we wish to add the next mode here. And we just do it like this. I just copy this line and I paste it, and I name it modeling, and I change this number here because I see it is incremental, and this should be 7 here right now. And we check also the function that draws the button and implementation. This indices, this the next number here. So, and then I can navigate back in this code blocks. This is very useful navigation button here, this forward and back, like navigation when you surf the internet, and you can go to the previous site or the future site that you visited. Then here is also something similar. We are back with the draw bottom line function, and we just added this new drawing function here. And let's compile this program. Just quit this program here right now. And as I remember, this was the row of buttons, and then after it, it was the general message that was displayed. Now this general message should leave the right. And let's check out if I compile it, what I see there. We expand this view here. We see nothing. The bind mode ends and subdivide after creation. This is the message, and this is some other function that we see there, and we search for this function that does this. And this happens here in main C, and we see Polu render function. This should be here. This is the function that is called whenever the updating is necessary in the viewport. This Polu render incorporates also all sorts of UI drawing related functions also. And we should search for this draw bottom line here, if we meet this in this Polu render function, something similar here. We should Alright, I can't spot it right now, but I search for it in general, like this. Find occurrences of draw bottom line. And this code blocks environment is very useful because it displays the search results, and I can double click on them, and it takes me to this line in the program. And we see that in main C file there is 3 occurrences for this function. They are calls. And this user interface H function, this doesn't care us, this is here. But we are interested in calls where this is called. This is draw bottom message. And whenever else it's called draw UI, draw bottom line, draw bottom message, draw bottom line, draw bottom message, and the draw bottom message was alright, we see that display bottom message is called. And let's check out this function. We should be consistent in the searches here right now. And here it states at draw last messages, and it has, when I leave my cursor here on the line, then it displays the explanatory pop-up explanation here, and I see here very useful information. This is it states that this function is void, and it has the parameter types displayed, and we see that the last type is width, the last attribute to the function, and this should identify what it is doing, and it uses this left, minus left, and we should see what this buttons mode is about. We search for this buttons mode right now, find occurrences right now, and it defines that buttons mode states to 7, and we are not sure what this buttons mode is, but let's try it out if I put it to 8 right now. And before I compile, I check the other instances where it is used, this buttons mode. Here in main C, we see that it is a test about bottom line, is the vertical coordinate, and whether it's camera screen lock or the manipulation is not used, dialogues are not open, meaning not dialog lock and not drag dialog. Dialogues are also not dragged, and we see here this buttons mode is used to identify the valid area of mouse interactions. And here we see the function is called also, the button mode function. And this function is now important for us. I put this to next increment and search for button mode, where it's declared. It is declared here, but we search for it, occurrences, And I see this is very popular term in this program, but where I see something interesting for me. Right now I don't know where I should whether I should double click any of it or not, but I should locate the functions for this button mode. I see here the functions. Alright, double click here, and this is underneath the main function. In the main C file we see this initiative block that sets several functions for the UI. And we see that the last function was setBindMode. And now we can increment this, Ctrl C, and I put in my next function here. And I increment this one, and I rename it set modeling mode. I guess mode is necessary. And to be consistent, then I just copy this one, Ctrl C, and I search for where this bind mode, the last thing, was set. Find implementation, and we see what this looks like, this function. This is very tight function here, and very tidy work that is done. But we just put in our final function here, void, and paste, and we just create an empty function to be able to compile this program. Later we fill in the functions and all the necessary connections and what is necessary. But first thing we can do is we can just put in something, a message or something that we are able to do. Bind mode is the message, and we set message modeling mode, and we do nothing else. Maybe we should change the button color. This is also a possibility, but I'm not certain how this was done. Here we see the button mode 5 color. This is 5. This one is 6. Button mode color gray down. Okay. We can also make a little logic here. We copy this bind logic here, but we create the new variables here. Let's say modeling mode equals not modeling mode. This is the one way to do it. Just negation to the existing state, and then we test this state. If modeling mode, then we take certain actions, and else we take the second action, and then we should put use those variables and states here, and I'm I guess this button should be used here to be visual, only visual feedback. And we see how this button is used in the next instance. Gray big BB. This one here. We see, and we change this number here to 7. And we should compile here. We see an error message that modeling mode is not declared, and we just wish to declare it. And I just copy this name, and I search for the place where I declared this last variable, because we use this last button example to create the next button. And I find the declaration. It is somewhere in this file. What's this? Declaration in this file is this one declared, and we should use this new file for the new variables and constants. And I have also a file ready, the modeling H file, and this has only a single descriptive or illustrative function in it. Transform coordinates, and here we see that the interaction between 3 types of coordinates in the vertice. We see the vertice x coordinate here, vertice transformed x, and this Rx, and this Rx is sort of I plan to use it in the morph system. And this is quite a test in the future when I implement all those functions, because the formation system is already in place, and the transformed coordinates are the true coordinates that are displayed, meaning uploaded to the OpenGL shader. But before then the intermediate step is to use those morphed positions, this Rx, and the vertice definition itself is in object file. In object H file we see the vertice structure. Here we see vertice structure, and we see 3 sets of coordinates here. And in the morph system then we should use and see how to use those coordinates here. And of course, when we start doing it, then we search for those coordinates where they are available in the program, and we look every single instance where they appear, and then we really make conclusions and assumptions what we should do to come up with a next system. But right now the only thing we care is this UI new button. And if I copy this right, modeling mode, here we see an example of how it is done. I just copy this example here over, and I replace this modeling mode. And this should be enough right now to compile this program. And I test this program. we see that the modeling button is really there, and I wish to see if it prints out or what it does when I click on this button. It states that modeling mode was clicked here, and also we see the button color was changed. When I enter into bind mode, curve mode, on any other mode, then we see that modeling mode stays in, and this doesn't go out of this modeling mode. Then we should search those other button clicks on the bottom line that should switch off probably modeling mode. In the modeling we should be able to use those vertices or elements, then they should not switch off, but for instance when I go into bind mode, I'm not certain how this should be done, if it should be able to combine those modes with modeling mode, or should be some exclusive behavior there. But anyway, this is what is done to create a button. If I click then I go off of it.